a big difference between loneliness and boredom, but most people don't know which one they're experiencing. You stop going to the pub on Friday nights, you stop the parties, you're now at home with nothing to do and you feel that ache and you call it loneliness. But maybe sometimes you're just bored. Maybe you're not lonely. 73 days on the trot. We have done a daily podcast. How fucking cool is that? You say you're lonely, but is that the truth? I think you're just bored, uncomfortable with your own company, and this is why you reach for the booze on Fridays. It's not because you want to drink, it's because you don't know what else to do with the ache in your chest and the silence in the living room. Hello everybody, my name is Lee Davy. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone who lives a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck, and I spend every waking moment of that life helping other people do the same, like right now. What am I going to say to you people? I just want to say, oof, well done to Patrick for joining Stride. Well done, Patrick. We see you, we hear you, and you matter. Love you dearly. Same to you, Henry. We see you, we love you, and that you matter as well. Well done for joining Stride. It is very brave. It is very courageous. This role of helping people to become alcohol-free as fuck and live a self-led life is one of the most fulfilling and rewarding and beautiful jobs I could have, right? I don't even call it a job, right? But you know it is a job, so I'm using that word. On my 50th birthday, my beautiful wife created a montage of video recordings from people who have been in my life over the last 50 years. And there were so many people who I'd helped become alcohol-free as fuck, really singing praise to me and giving me praise for my service. And it made me cry. All of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, what I do really matters. But it's really, really hard. And the reason it's really, really hard is because of the shame and the stigma attached to alcohol reliance due to the liquid lie. We have a world-class program in the Stride method. It is a program that people enjoy. It's a program that they find challenging, but they love doing it. It is, everybody needs a challenge in life, and that is what it is. But ultimately, it helps people grow. It helps people evolve. It helps people positively disintegrate to get into that cocoon as a caterpillar and emerge as a beautiful butterfly that we're all destined to be. It gives them freedom. It is an amazing experience, but people don't do it. And the reason they don't do it is because they are terrified of the stigma, like I said, of alcohol reliance. My message to you, those of you on the fence, is this. When you look around at those closest to you, please be rest assured, right, that you are not alone. So many of those people, I would say the vast majority of those people are alcohol reliant. They just don't know it. They don't know it. You are not alone. You're not something different, unique in that respect. You are different and unique in the fact that you're listening to this. Because if you're listening to this, it means you've taken the one foot off at least the path of least resistance and you want to try something different. So there are more people out there like you than you would imagine. It's just they are not aware and you are. So when you're ready, we're here for you. Okay. I know it's not easy. I know it takes a very courageous step to invest time and money in your growth and your development. I've been there before, felt the tug myself, but we're here for you when you're ready. Okay. All right. On to today's show. When I first stopped drinking 15 years ago, I really felt lonely. I really did. But here's the truth. I was already lonely. Today, sometimes I feel lonely. You see, the booze didn't create my loneliness. It numbed it. It disguised it. It made the loneliness tolerable. It made the loneliness tolerable for just a little while. I drank alcohol because the world told me it was nice, normal, necessary, natural, and noble. Because people like us do things like this. Where I grew up, everybody drank, so that's what we will do. That is the liquid lie. But alcohol doesn't connect you. It disconnects you. It disconnects you from yourself, from others, from the world, from spirit, from universe, from everything. So of course, I felt lonely. Why wouldn't I feel lonely? Because I was severed from my center. Right? My axis of who I am, my true being. And yet there is a big difference between loneliness and boredom, but most people don't know which one they're experiencing. You stop going to the pub on Friday nights. You stop the parties. You're now at home with nothing to do and you feel that ache and you call it loneliness. But maybe sometimes you're just bored. Maybe you're not lonely. Maybe you're ungrounded, unscheduled, undirected, but that's not a defect. That's a call to reconnect with self. Because when you can sit in your own energy without reaching for distraction, you build something stronger than stimulation. You build presence. Now we're going to take a short break, but let this land. If alcohol disconnects you from absolutely everything, then what would happen if you finally reconnected with you? Have a think about that. Welcome back to the 1000 Days Sober podcast. Before the break, we explored how loneliness, or our thoughts, our perceptions on loneliness, can often hide boredom, and how alcohol exploits both. So what do we do about it? Well, step one, you have to rebuild your relationship with yourself, right? That beautiful innate part of you that knows what to do every single time, that is grounded, that is present, that is calm, that is compassionate, that has access to creativity, that is connected to yourself and all other people. That is your true self, your true essence, right? Your true seat of consciousness. But most of us are led by our parts of our personality, or our ego, right? Protector parts, performer parts, pleasers, mimics, rebels. And alcohol helps those parts stay in power, and self becomes a ghost in the machine. But when you strip away the booze, the silence gets louder. And in that silence, you really do find out who you are. And that is the work, that is the practice. Because only when you know yourself can you bring yourself into the world. That's the first part. You have to learn to know yourself. You have to look in the mirror and be able to sort the wheat from the chaff. When is a part showing up and when am I in self? That's part of the biggest work we do at Strive. And when you do that, you start to attract people who vibrate with your truth, not your performance, not your mask, your truth. It doesn't happen overnight, but when it does, it's absolutely beautiful. But don't rush it. There is a gap, there's a tension, a transition. It's like standing at the edge of the ocean and realizing that this was all fake, that the whole life, your whole life, is the Truman Show. Remember that show, that movie with Jim Carrey, when he like went out on a boat to the edge of the sea and realized that he was in the actual TV show because the clouds was actually like part of the set. I thought about this when I was in Montenegro looking at the sea the other day. And when you get there, when you realize your whole life is the Truman Show, that realization is quite painful. That's what happened to me 15 years ago when I stopped drinking. But inside that pain, there is possibility. I'm telling you, there is, right? Now, you're not chained to the performance. You're free to choose, right? Environment matters. Of course it does. Culture matters. But you don't just run to the hills. Ask yourself, is this discomfort something to escape, or is this something to explore? Because sometimes the universe places you in these spaces to help you grow, to teach you how to connect, even when surrounded by parts, even when small talk is unbearable, even when the room feels empty despite being full, and even if you are bored. Another thing that I did 15 years ago when I became alcohol-free as fuck is I created a pale list. Not a bucket list, a pale list. A pale list is like doing the little things that spark your soul, because some of us think with a bucket list, it's way beyond us and we don't have that confidence. We haven't built that trust in ourselves that we can go to the pyramids in Giza and we can go to the Grand Canyon in Las Vegas. But we can create a pale list, right? We can create things that will spark our soul. Maybe we can learn to swim. Maybe we could join a yoga class, a singing lesson, go to the opera down the road, get on your bike and fly down a hill with your hands in the air. Do something wild that doesn't end in a blackout. Because if you don't fill your time with meaning, your mind will fill it with lies. Okay, on to today's vow. Today I will not drink because I know my loneliness is not a flaw. It is an invitation to return to self. I will meet my boredom with curiosity, and I will fill my life with a special kind of joy. Joy that doesn't leave me empty in the morning. And the truth is this, alcohol never cured your loneliness. It buried it. But if you dig it up, if you sit with it, listen to it, you'll find that what you're truly craving, it was never the drink. It was just yourself. So reflections as you mosey on about your day today. What does loneliness on a Friday night actually feel like? Like, have you actually sat with it and instead of thinking, actually feel in the body what it feels like? Is this coming from a place of disconnection or disinterest? What is one thing you can do this week to feel more like you? What is your pale list? Reach out to me at thestrivemethod@gmail.com and let me know. Okay. All right. That's all I got time for. I got to whiz off to work. If this episode resonated with you, please leave a review so more strivers can find it. Okay. Let's build this movement to break down the liquid lie. Remember, we cannot destroy the old system until we build a new one. That's what we're doing here. Subscribe if you don't want to miss a moment of our episodes. Like I said at the beginning of the show. Did I say at the beginning of the show? This is 74 days on the trot. I've delivered the daily podcast. So that's pretty cool. Remember, today, you do not have to drink, okay? And if you want to hop on board the Strive Method Workshop, again, email me at that address, right? Until tomorrow, much love. You've got this. Take care of yourself.